Hello, hi. This is Sibylle from Wild Spirits Coaching, and I see I'm completely overexposed. I'll try and make it a little darker. Give me a second. I'll be right back. Now, how does this look? Any better? Yes, now I have a face, actual face features. Hello, everyone. This is just a very quick live training, and I haven't announced this at all, so don't kick yourself if you've missed it. The only way you will find out about it is if you happen to be logged into Facebook right now, because then you'll get a notification. So maybe a couple of people are online and will log in and will tune in live. But otherwise, you can always watch the replay. I will also put it up on my YouTube channel. If you search YouTube for Wild Spirits Coaching in three words, Wild Spirits Coaching, then you'll find that too, and you can subscribe to the channel, and then you'll see every training video that I do will also be uploaded on YouTube. So the reason why I'm going live right now is that I just had this thought, this really important thing that I want to share with you. It's such a common mistake that people make, such a common misstep, and it keeps them from living their passion, and keeps them from pursuing their passion, from claiming that joy, that feeling of fulfillment, that being lit up by doing what you love, by pursuing your passion. And with one word you could call it perfectionism, but it goes a little deeper. So many times when I talk to people about what lights them up, about their passion, they will tell me, oh, I've always loved sewing, but I'm really not good at it. I'm not very good at it. So I could never make anything out of this. And it keeps people from doing what they love. Now, you might know, if you know me at all, if you know Wild Spirits Coaching at all, you know that I offer coaching programs to help people put their passion front and center in their lives. And I actually have two main programs. One is helping people put their passion front and center, making time, money, space in their lives to prioritize their passion rather than prioritize everything else and then use the passion as an afterthought. And there's a second, more extensive program for people who are actually serious about putting their passion front and center, and who want to truly build their lives around that. So this could include living off their passion and making money with it. Now you'd say, especially if you want to do that, if you're not really good at what you're doing, how is that possible? And I'm telling you, even that is possible. But let me start from the beginning. I'll tell you my story because I'm very familiar with that, not pursuing one's passion. Now, I'm a multi-passionate. I have different passions, and one of them is writing. So I've always loved writing. I've always been writing small, insignificant things, but never anything. Lots of the time it was non-fictional, and if it was fictional, it was only snippets of things. Because I also happen to have an MA in literature. And so I have a bit of a judgment, and I know my writing isn't particularly good. I'm not saying that to be modest, and I know we're all our own harshest critics, but I do have a bit of judgment. And no, my writing isn't fantastic. It isn't helped by the fact that I'm friends with several people who are actual authors, who are writers, who are amazing, are really, really good. And whenever I started writing something all my life, when I started trying to write something fictional, I immediately had that inner critic in me, and I was my own worst critic and ripping it apart, and I never got past the first couple of sentences, or maybe the first page or so, all my life. Until at 40, my mum, it took a very sad emotional event to get me to overcome this barrier. And that event was my mum dying. So my mum had a stroke a year before that, in 2009, and in 2010 in June she died. And it was becoming more and more obvious in the months leading up to that event that this is what was going to happen. So there was no doubt about that that I was about to lose my mother. And all the stuff that this brings with it, all this coping that you need to do, and it was really hard. And I live in a different country from my parents, and that was an additional difficulty, and not seeing her as often as I wanted to. So and that got me to sit down and actually write a story, a fictional story. And you know what? It wasn't very good. It's just not very well written. It's actually kind of a nice story, but it's not well written. And again, I'm not saying that to be modest or anything. It's not well written. My point is, who cares? What difference does it make if what makes me happy, what kept me sane during my mother's death and brought me a lot of connecting to people that I liked, who read this and liked it, and a lot of self-expression, and just that joy, that incredible joy and passion of doing what lights you up, of pursuing one of your passions. All of this is completely untouched by the quality of what you produce. Now, and my argument will be that nobody's passion is to be published and to be recognized. Of course, every artist is kind of longing for that recognition. A painter wants to have an exhibition and everybody liking it, and a writer would love to see their name in print and would love to see themselves published. But for the actual process of producing something, for the passion, if it's actually a passion, not just an ego trip, you don't need recognition and you don't need quality. Now, it's inherent in passions that we want to get good, that we want to improve ourselves, and that's a different thing. But you can improve yourself from one week to the next, and I did during the course of that story that I wrote. The last couple of chapters are a lot better than the first couple of chapters, because by doing and by practicing your passion, you get better. And this is one thing, you do get better. You can take courses, you can learn, but if you're not practicing, if you're not going to do it, you're never going to get better. If you set out with the expectation that you'll be a pro and that you'll be perfect, you'll never do it. Remind yourself that this is not what passion is about. Passion is not about perfection. Passion is about doing what lights you up, working on yourself, improving yourself, and getting this done and getting it out into the world. And you release the energy of it out into the world anyway, whatever you produce, whatever your passion is, even if it's not a published book or an exhibition of a painting. I believe we got that expectation of ourselves to be good at something probably from Hollywood. Again, modern entertainment industry is full of stories of these painters, the starving artist or the starving writer who finally gets his big break, and then the movie ends with them being celebrated, and then everything is right. Giving us the idea that if that doesn't happen, then it's not right, and we're somehow not allowed to pursue our passion. Now, I'll never be a brilliant writer. I'll be a decent writer if I keep writing, because I do improve. But I'm never going to be a Shakespeare. I don't need to be. I'm happy being me and not being published and just doing that. Now, I'll come back to what I said at the beginning of the video, the program that I do with people, making a living, or actually building a life around one's passion. How can you do that, possibly, if you're not very good? Well, first of all, you can do that by this coaching program that I do is about laying the foundations and obviously going the first steps. But it doesn't have to be something that happens within 3 months. It can happen in a year, or in 2 or 3 years. You just have to start now, because learning and getting the help and finding the finance and the time and all that to get education or to get training in whatever passion you are is a big part of that. And for example, I have a friend I used to play I'm a musician, so piano is my thing. And I had a friend who was quite good at playing the piano. She wasn't a genius though. So she wasn't going to become a celebrated pianist. That was pretty clear by the time we finished school, but she was still very good and music was her passion. So our piano teacher said to her, why don't you go off to conservatory and study piano and really do this and become a piano teacher yourself, because you can relate to people who aren't geniuses. You don't have to be on stage and be a celebrated performer. For every passion, there are several things you can do to make money with them that don't require you to be a perfect professional. My first piano teacher, I had several in my life, my very first piano teacher started playing the piano when they were 21. He started at 21 and he went on to study and become a teacher in his 30s. So I don't think that it's too late, or you can't learn it, or you should have started when you were 5 years old, or all this crap. Because sorry for the language, but it is crap. It's bullshit. It's excuses. And this brings me to the end of this training and on to the Monday Sparkles article on Monday, because that will talk about exactly these things that I just mentioned, but it'll go into a lot more depth on them. So don't miss Monday Sparkles on Monday. If you're not, on next Monday, if you're not subscribed to Monday Sparkles yet, Monday Sparkles is my weekly newsletter. When you subscribe to it, your details, your name and your email address will come to me, and they will never come to anyone else. And I promise, I give you my word, that I'll not ever sell it on or share it with anyone. What I will do with your data is I'll send you a weekly newsletter every Monday morning. And that's it. That's the extent of it. So don't worry, and you'll get this weekly coaching magic. And the main article is also shared on my website, wildspiritscoaching.com. But it's only the main article that gets shared. The rest of Monday Sparkles is exclusive offers, backstage, so to speak, info, background info, exclusive stuff. There's a lot of stuff that I only ever give to my readers, to my subscribers, because I value them and they're kind of my tribe. So there's a lot more in the newsletter than the one article you see published on my website in the blog section every week. So if you're not subscribed yet, go to www.wildspiritscoaching.com and subscribe to Monday Sparkles. You get a confirmation email with even a free gift. You get a very valuable free gift actually. That is how to stop procrastinating and start following your passion in 3 simple steps you can implement today. So that thing alone is worth a lot, and you get that for free when you sign up for Monday Sparkles. And from then on, you will get 1 email per week every Monday. How's that for not spamming you? Have a beautiful weekend. I hope you are already having a beautiful weekend. It's Sunday afternoon here in Ireland. No, depending on what your time zone is, you might be ahead or behind me. But whatever you do, I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you're making time for your passion or multiple passions this weekend. I'll talk to you on Monday morning in Monday Sparkles, and hopefully soon in another live training. Bye-bye.